some political news now. New indicators show rough waters ahead for the Democrats in the midterms. A Pew Research USA Today poll shows Republicans have their biggest advantage in 2 decades. Numbers shows voters shifting away from supporting Democrats over the last 6 months. A majority of voters say the president isn't a factor in their vote, but the number of Democrats voting in the midterms in support of the president's record has fallen 16 points since the 2010 elections. The number of Republicans voting against his agenda has increased. Still, when compared to this point when George W. Bush was president, the president's approval is 9 points higher. Voters have showed a deep desire for change during both presidents' second midterm elections, with 65% saying it's time for different policies under President Obama.
John Heilman, we have a flurry of polls. Willie and I were talking about this last week, 2 weeks ago. Democrats looking better. This past week, Republicans looking better. Now this Pew poll suggests big trouble. And also in the USA Today, health spending. This is going to be a huge headline. This is going to drive the first half of the week in Washington, D.C. as far as the debate. USA Today screaming headline, health spending up the fastest in 34 years. And in the lead, the USA Today blames Obamacare.
And, you know, look, I mean, we saw 3 polls last week, right? We started early last week with that ABC Washington Post poll, which we all wondered whether it was an outlier. Then we saw the NBC Wall Street Journal poll, which seemed very consistent with the previous ABC Washington Post poll, and now this poll. So we've had 3 in a row now from pretty big organizations with big sample sizes who have good records that suggest that that maybe what happened with the Obamacare 8 million number was more of a blip, and that we're actually settling into what I think a lot of people thought the prevailing trend lines would be, which is that Republicans are in a very strong position heading into the midterms, and that Obamacare is going to be by no means a winning on the macro level. It's not going to be a winning issue for Democrats, and they're going to have to be fighting for their lives in general and specifically on that issue going forward.
Harold, it's